What is going on, everyone? It is Jake here, representing the Fighting Now, and yet we have some more interviews coming y'all's way today here on this very beautiful Wednesday that we have in store for you guys. First of all, I want to get a chance to introduce myself. I am Jake. I am the owner of the Fighting Now, which you guys can check that out on Facebook and Twitter, the Fighting Now too. But hey, we have so much in store for you ways. So yeah, let's go ahead and send a shout out to our great friends at RMGFX1. They have so many incredible gears. We also have so many amazing merchandise as far as the Fighting Now side, and you guys go ahead and pick up some Fighting Now gear at rmgfx1.com. Use promo code FightNow to save 10% off your entire purchase. And also, of course, definitely, we just had our show today, but yet don't forget to check out the Jay and Trey podcast every day. We have a show for y'all, which they recorded it, but either way, though, shout out to Justin and Trey, part of the TNC Sports Talk. We had such an amazing show with Ashley Molina, and she was just so awesome. And I encourage you guys to go check out that episode. It was incredible, to say the least. And of course, real quick, I want to go ahead and chance to send a shout out to not one, not two, but three incredible podcasts that you guys need to listen to. First of all, let's go ahead and send a shout out to Mom's Basement MMA. They've been doing so many amazing interviews. They've been doing so many incredible things from left and right. And not only that, but you guys get a chance to check them out at Moms_Basement MMA on Instagram. Next up, we have Liz with a Z podcast. Lisa Solar has been doing so many incredible things. I know she interviewed her opponent, Lisa Sun, after the XFN fight back a couple of weeks ago. And I know that she's got some fight news. I know she's got a lot of news that in store for her. So yeah, make sure you guys check out Liz with a Z podcast. And last but certainly not least, we also have Air Media Productions in the booth. They have so many incredible interviews from left to right. So shout out to everyone who is doing so many amazing things that are part of Air Media Productions. They've been great friends. All these podcasts have been doing so many incredible and tremendous things as of late. But yet today, hey, I'm very excited because we have the one, the only Kristin Gifford. Hopefully I said that right. And I want to welcome everyone in the comments. If you guys have a question for her, please send them down to the comments. I am very, very excited because in case you guys don't know who she is now the third member from Charleston Muay Thai who's going to be joining me here inside the StreamYard studios. We had Amy Perduto, who joined me and Justin back at the Jay and Trey podcast. And then we had Anna Toole that joined me last Friday, which was amazing. Y'all check it out on YouTube. And, of course, we have Kristin that's going to be joining me later on. She is a tremendous fighter. She is a tremendous mom. She is a tremendous person. Just her heart of gold. She's just so incredible, to say the least. And by the way, I want to send a shout out to Audrey for suggesting me for this interview, because it seems like I want to get a chance to interview everyone from Charleston Muay Thai because they're just all incredible, like an amazing family. And you'll see it right here, how much of a relationship each woman has a part of this team, to say the least. So yet shout out to everyone a part of Charleston Muay Thai. Shout out to everyone. In case you guys missed yesterday's interviews, they're on my YouTube channel. I know we had some amazing ones. We had Emily Keck that got a chance to join me. I think Charisse forgot. I'm trying not to butcher her name, but yet you guys understand. But we had two incredible interviews. We had one with Katie Stride on Monday, and then today we had Ashley Molina in the J&J podcast. Kristin today, and then coming up later on at 3 o'clock, we have Lisa Sun that's going to be joining me. And, of course, tomorrow, I'm very excited to get a chance to interview a very incredible young fighter at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. She's going to be talking about her fight from Combat Night MMA, and even though it was her first fight, I still want to get a chance to talk to her because you learn something after each person. You learn something after each story. And I am very excited to say, the platform that we have now will give the ability. So I know we have two people in the comments. So yeah, I encourage you guys to go ahead and say some comments. Either way though, just come on in and join in the chat. I did send Kristin the link. So I know she might be working. So yeah, she's going to join us very, very quick. So I'm very excited. And once again, if you guys have any questions for her, send them down in the comments. I will make sure that your comment is highlighted here on the stream. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible to say the least. And don't forget, make sure you guys get a chance to follow Kristin. I'm going to put up her name at Kristin Lee. Make sure you put the dots in there, and of course the underscore. So much that I'm ready to get a chance to talk to her about. And Joe, the reason why is like she's definitely been a very special person to not only to Charleston Muay Thai but to everyone else, because whenever you first talk to her, she understands. She understands a lot, and there's so many great questions. I cannot wait to get a chance to have her to answer, to get a chance to have her to understand. And at the end of this interview, before she joins, I want her to know how awesome she is at what she's doing. I know she compete against one of my great friends, Sandra Arndt, and I know she's doing many incredible things as far as the Muay Thai stuff, and I know the best is yet to come for her. So, real quick, I'm going to make sure that you guys get a chance to follow her. My apologies, don't know what just happened right there. But want to make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear up into the comments. I would love to get a chance to see your comments until she gets a chance to join us. Also, by the way, don't forget, in case you guys see it in the little ticker here, Knuckle Mania 2 is going to be this Saturday, February 19th. We have 2 women's bouts that are going to be in store. We have Kristen Vincent, try not to butcher her name, taking on Jade Wong, and of course, for the first ever bare knuckle women's title, it is Britt Hart taking on Christine Fierro. Looks like we got a chance to have Kristin join me, so please help me welcome in the one, the only, the amazing, the incredible Miss Kristin Gifford.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just trying to get this set up here.
It takes a while for you to get used to, but yet, first of all, and yeah, I'm going to move this here. Well, didn't mean to do that. First of all, I want to say welcome to the StreamYard studio. It is such an honor to get a chance to have you part of this interview. How you been doing?
Good. I couldn't figure out what to wear, so I wore my Sting shirt.
I love that. I love that. See, with me, it's like I don't really have much MMA attire, so I went with the old school stuff, the Tully Blanchard and the Arn Anderson tag team. So
I'm cool with that.
either way, though, so what have you been up to lately?
I'm good, Kids, work, Muay Thai, dogs, cats.
Well, hey, you do got a question about a dog, which we'll get to the viewer questions later on. But first of all, I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day. I know it's a lot on you this week, but thank you so much for getting a chance to join me. So I think everyone wants to get a chance to know about you. And the thing is that we have so many things that inspire us to get to where we are, with me, with the interviews, and you with the fighting. So what inspired you to start fighting?
Actually, I was thinking about this after I watched Anna's interview the other day and Chandra. What really inspired me was the fact that, well, I'm competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of fell into Muay Thai. I ended up sorry, I can't find the right angle here.
Okay.
Ended up at the Title Boxing Gym where Anna ended up at, and, fell in love with, just kicking the bag and hitting the bag. And after doing that for so long, I was just like, I need to do more. And to be honest, I saw what Anna was doing and I was like, I want to do that too. And so we've been on this almost 7-year journey of getting to where we're at. And for me personally, I have a lot of past traumas in my life, and I felt like this would be a good outlet for me to be able to do some releasing and just kind of find a level ground. And, I've been able to do that through Muay Thai and through the community.
Like I mentioned before you got a chance to join, and I'm going to show this picture right here. This is you and pretty much your family of, all the women part of Charleston Muay Thai who is, you pretty much say is like a bunch of sisters. And I admire that so much because whenever they do see you as a fighter, how much has Charleston Muay Thai helped you in so many ways?
Yeah, well, a really good example of the sisterhood is, well, first of all, I don't have any sisters. So these girls are honestly like the sisters I never had. I grew up with a lot of cousins, but never any sisters. So I'm thankful for them because I get to share something really special with people who aren't my blood, but are my family. And, a really good example of this is when I, did my last tournament at the IKF in October. I cut down about 26 pounds in just over a month. And when I went to weigh in, I still had 3 pounds to lose. And I thought going up there that day, like I was on point. I thought I was doing a really good job. And when I got there, I was so disappointed because I'd worked so hard to get to where I had been, where I was at to make that weight. I came down 2 weight classes from when I fought Chandra. And I was just like, I'm doing this. But when I got there, the scale said otherwise. So they immediately were like, nope, you're not quitting now. You got this. You came too far. And, I was able to get in my hotel room early. They sat with me while I did the hot bath for an hour, while I laid under towels to cut those last 3 pounds. And we shared stories. We talked about our lives. And that right there was just like the moment for me where I was like, these women are like my sisters. I wouldn't have shared some of the things I shared with them. And I mean, we were in some pretty deep conversations and some pretty weird conversations at some points, about losing weight and stuff. But, we're all different. We all come from different walks of life. I'm the oldest woman on the fight team. I train with 20-year-olds. I train with 30-year-olds. And at the end of the day, nobody looks at that. They look at you as a person. Everybody looks out for each other. This truly is an amazing thing that one sport can bring so many people together from so many walks of life.
Oh, 100%. And before we get to the next question, we do have a comment for you. And this is from Miss Audrey. And she says, there's a common trend so many of us have followed and gym to gym.
I mean, I want to give Jeff credit too, but it's mostly Anna.
pretty much to say the least.
Oh, I mean, everybody wants to be Anna Toole. Who doesn't?
I mean, everyone. I mean,
she's amazing.
I mean, we talked about this. We talked about the support system that she has, and I mean, you can pretty much say that you're also having such an incredible support system as well. And talking about that, you have had some ups and especially some downs when it comes to training, especially for what you did back in October. What has been the hardest part in training, in your own opinion?
For me personally, it's cardio. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at running. I'm just not a runner. I'm not built for speed. I'm built for punching people really hard and really fast. I'm just not a runner. So when it comes to having to do cardio, it's hard for me. So for my last fight camp, what I did was I kind of turned things around. I hopped on my treadmill. I put the incline on 15 and I walked 3 miles per hour for about 45 minutes every morning. That increased my cardio tremendously, and it worked. It sucked, but it worked.
Yeah. And by the way, real quick, you also have some more comments. We also have Roberto who says, I want to be Anna Toole. And of course, Audrey says, if we can never pop up, pretty much says, I would like to be you when I grow up, she said.
No.
Well,
that's nice.
Not only people recognize you as a fighter, but yet you're also a mom too. And you want your kids to be able to see how much you can do, especially when it comes to training. What's the one thing that you want your kids to learn whenever you start training, whenever you start fighting? What's something that you want them to know when they start growing up, to see you as a fighter that you are?
Sorry, I'm breaking up a little bit, but I think I got that. So really, I take my kids to the gym with me every once in a while, if I don't have a babysitter or, I want to get some training in and have to take them, I'll bring them with me. They get the experience of being in there. Again, it goes back to the family thing and the sisterhood, and my kids, everybody in there treats my kids like family. My daughter has everything named Jeff. So that just goes to show what type of a relationship everybody has there. But mostly I bring them in there so they can see the hard work. And, eventually, hopefully I realize that they will see that anything is possible. It doesn't matter how old you are or what weight you're at. If you want something bad enough and are willing to work for it, it will happen. Not everybody's going to have things handed to them in life. Not everybody's going to be a natural born athlete. Not everybody is going to be able to just go do Muay Thai and not have to cut weight. So for me to go through this process and show them I have to do all these things. I have to work really hard. I have to train as much as I can. I have to run. I have to eat carrots. For them, hopefully they will see someday that anything is possible.
And hopefully they realize that, once when they start growing up, is that whether it's your kids does basketball, volleyball, whatever it may be, it's like you can't, like I've always talked about this before, you can't really expect what you want. You have to be able to earn it. Just like like what you're doing right now. If you want to win, you have to earn your win. You don't expect to hand it to you. You can't just say, 1, 2, boom, got the W.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're just not going to be good. All of our kids are different. One of our kids is really laid back. One of our kids thinks he's the winner at everything, and he's not. Our little girls, she'll probably change the world, but they need to know that you have to work for everything that you want. And if you want to be on the top of that pedestal, you're going to have to work really hard to get there. And hopefully by setting that example, they'll see that, wow, my mom did that, I can do that too. And that's all we want.
And I think once when they start looking back on what you're doing, especially when it comes to the Muay Thai side, they will know how much you put in and how much you want to give for something that you love to do. And I hope your kids will see that as you're setting an example. And one thing I always think about is that, with Jeff and with the girls, I mean, and I'm going to put you on the spot to this, but who has made the most impact on you when you first started training?
I mean, Jeff, flat out. I mean, and I can be completely honest, and he'll agree, is because he never let me quit.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of your teammates tell me how hard Jeff can be, but at the same time, it's a learning lesson. It's an incredible lesson, to say the least. And talking about your fight back in October, how much do you think could you say you have grown as a fighter, especially with what you did against Sandra?
Yeah, so I mean, my first fight against Chandra was pretty awesome. I got stuck in her clinch and she beat the crap out of me, but it was great. I got to get in there, and I had been looking for that experience, and I wanted to do that for so long, and I finally got the opportunity to do it, and it was amazing. I'm competitive, so yeah, it stinks to lose, but I also know that the work she puts in and the work I put in are completely different levels. So just to be able to get in there was an amazing experience. And from that, I wanted more. And when I realized I had 2 competitors at the IKF, I turned it up because I didn't want to be in that position again with my back against the ropes. And I am a completely different person than I was last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was in a really deep, dark place. And just going through that whole fight camp and process, I had to push myself farther than I've ever pushed myself, especially in my body, to, cut that weight and make that weight, because it was one of those things. Like, I wasn't going to quit. I was going to make it no matter what. And I got to the point where after I won the first fight, it was really just kind of surreal to me, because I went in there working so hard to get to that point that I wasn't losing. And that might sound cocky, but they were literally going to have to knock me out or drag me out of that ring for me to lose. I was not going to lose either of those fights, because I had gone so far. I put my body through so much to get there. And I knew after my first fight that my second fight looked like it was going to be a little bit tougher. But again, I just told myself, I'm not coming out of here losing. I'm just not doing it. And at that point, after I won that second fight, I talked to Anna about this, and I said, I felt like I finally am fighting because I want to, not because I have to. And that for me was like a pivotal moment in my life, because I wasn't fighting something. I was fighting because I wanted to fight. And it might not make sense to people, but it makes sense to me. And that's all that matters.
I definitely seen that. And by the way, real quick, shout out to Sandra because she's currently training for a fight next month. Shout out to her.
Yeah, I got it right here. Look.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Shout out to her. But I can honestly say that when people start seeing, pictures don't do it justice on how much you put into this fight, on how much you kept swinging, on how much you've done. I think people can realize that you are in there to fight. You are in there to be the best. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong in being confident because you have to have confidence. If you don't have any confidence at all, then you're not going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have confidence. You have to believe in yourself first and foremost. If you
Of
don't,
course.
everybody else can believe in you. At the end of the day, everybody can cheer you on and they can tell you to throw this combo or throw that combo. But if you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do it. And I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the pep talk. I've had people talk to me and say, hey, if you don't believe in yourself, why are you even here?
And real quick, before we get to the next comment, I do want to share, and yet not too many people know, is that you helped me out. You helped me out at times whenever I don't feel like I'm in the right place or I don't feel like I deserve any of the opportunities because you stepped out of your time to help me, to help others to know what they need to do, especially when it comes to fighting, when it comes to getting up and start going. I mean, and I definitely do appreciate you for helping me, for helping others, because without people like you, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be able to say that we're strong. We can get up. If you get knocked down, you have to get back up. You have to keep going and fighting.
Yeah, I mean, what other choice do you have?
Exactly, exactly. And by the way, so you do have another comment. This time it's from Nicole. I can't really pronounce the last name, but it says, I've never seen determination and grit like I saw that day with Kristin. I still got tears in my eyes thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't losing. I was not. I was determined. I knew in my head. I had already planned it out. I was not. It wasn't happening.
And of course, saying amen. So I got a good chance I want you to look back on something, from the struggles to being in that dark place to get where you are today. What would you say has been the hardest part in your journey?
My Muay Thai journey or just my life?
I mean, just like your Muay Thai journey, especially since you talked about, you've been in the dark place, you've been through a lot, but yet you're actually still shining your light to others. To this say, whether if it's in the fighting side or whether if it's outside of the ropes, you still shining your light to be able to make an impact. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there like kind of goes back to there's no other choice. It goes back to I've made it through 100% of my bad days, and you can too. My bad days might be different than your bad days, but I can't discount what you have going on in your life because it might feel just as bad as how I feel for what I've gone through in my life. So I can't discount that. But what I can tell you is, as a survivor of grief and as a survivor of trauma, and, a lot of people don't know this, but, when I was 19 years old, I was also, assaulted. I was a flight attendant, and I had an overnight layover, and the first officer tried to push his way into my hotel room. He pinned me down on the bed, and if I wasn't smart enough at 19 years old to kick and scream and flail around and get out from underneath of him, I'm not sure what would have happened. He ended up, going to jail, and he faced charges for that. But that is something that is in the back of my mind all of the time. And I want to take my life experiences, whether it be, going through something like that or going through the grief that I've gone through for the last 14 years, and show people that no matter what you have going on in your life, there's hope. There's somebody out there who can help you, walk you through those steps. There's processes that you have to follow. And you can't follow those steps and those processes until you realize that you need it. You need to. And whenever I see somebody struggling, I don't know, I was in social work for a while. I'm a helper by nature. So I want to reach out to that person and I want to say, hey, you know what? Here's a virtual pat on the back, or here's a pat on the back, or here's a hug, because you know what? It's going to be okay. Today might suck, but tomorrow's a new day. And if you can wake yourself up, it can be a better day. You just have to, make the changes. And it's hard, but
Yeah.
You know, I had somebody was struggling the other day. I saw, you know, they were having a hard time getting to the gym or whatever, or mental health. And I said, hey, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Just try again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you this. I am so proud of you for making through what you went through to be able to continue to be able to get a chance to share what you went through because I mean you talked about, I mean, who knows what could have happened in that situation whenever you was 19 years old. Who knows what could have happened, but yet you fought out of it and you're still with us today. And I can honestly say I'm very proud of you for everything that you've done just to get to where you are. And talking about this, I mean, I think we can all admire you, not just because of what the things that you went through, just because of your heart. I mean, you can help so many people out. You helped me, you helped others. And I want to say thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, because not too many people can reach out to one another and say, "Hey, what's going on?" They'll listen, and you take the time out of your day. You take the time out of the crazy schedule that you have, because I know your schedule's crazy.
A
I
little
know
bit.
it's gonna be. But I do want to say this though. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, because you're not only a fighter inside the ropes, but you're also a fighter outside of the ropes, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, we're all fighting for something, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So you got a chance to be able to get the win back in October, and that was one of the things that you got a chance to achieve. This year alone, I know there's going to be a lot of goals. There's got to be a lot of things that you want to be able to accomplish. Is there anything that you want to achieve this year?
You know, I just want to fight more, you know, just see what happens. I'm just really kind of laid back about it. Whenever an opportunity arises, I'm kind of in that weird weight class too, where nobody fights in the, you know, the 160s and the 170s. And,
Mhm.
you know, the weight cut's hard. It's not easy because I'm naturally just not skinny. So, you know, cutting the weight's not fun, but I love Muay Thai and I love competition. So I'll do what I have to get back in there and whatever, you know, I don't care if you're 5-0. I don't care. Well, the only person I really don't want to fight again is Chandra because she's really tall. But other than that, she'll think that's good. But maybe
Uh,
someday, if I could get all the training in that I would want to, I would definitely play that one back. I
oh
got
yeah,
some ideas in my head of what I would do different, not put my back on the ropes. But yeah, you know, just more fights, more training, just having fun with it. Because really for
yeah.
me, it's all about having fun, you know, win or lose. Yeah. You know, I know they say like it's okay if you lose, but also, you know, I also have been an athlete my whole entire life. I've played sports, I snowboard, you know, you name it, I've done it and I don't like to lose. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, more fights, more
Well,
fun, just live life.
well, hey, I can also say if Sandra does watch this later on, I'm pretty sure that she'll definitely agree to that rematch for sure. And I mean, I talked to you about this last night, and I'll talk to you about it again. I just love the respect that you have for your opponents, to your peers, to everything. That's just so incredible, to say the least. And I do have something special for you, but yet we got two more final questions. This time it is from Instagram. For those of you who don't know, I pretty much asked you guys some questions on the Fighting Now on Instagram, and you guys came through. And can you take a guess on who sent me these questions?
Okay.
Is
Um,
it,
Audrey.
I think yes, she sent me these questions. So shout out to Audrey for being so awesome. So the first question that she wanted me to ask you is, what is your favorite combo to throw?
Oh, so I've been kind of working some southpaw stuff because I had a little bit of injury from my IKF fights, you know, getting old, getting injured. But working on that, I'm really liking just the jab cross low kick. Jab cross, really hard low kick. Especially if you can throw the kick right after the cross, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, I think the next question, and we have to bring this up, is that word on the street is you're getting a new puppy, and what is the puppy's name going to be?
Don't tell my mom. She's gonna be mad. Audrey. So we don't know yet. My husband and I compromised. I wanted another bulldog. He didn't because they're expensive. And then I wanted a Doberman, but he didn't because they're expensive. So he wanted a Shih Tzu. And we couldn't agree on that, so we came to an agreement on a wiener dog. So we're getting a wiener dog, and he doesn't have a name yet. It's either going to be Tank, Dozer, Thor, and the kid's like Rubble, but Rubble's a bulldog, so.
Yeah. That does sound like a bulldog name, to
I
say
think
the
we should
least.
probably name him Walter.
Walter's a good idea. Well, hey, ask Amy, because she's got a couple of wiener dogs, and she'll help you out as far as the name wise.
Yeah, maybe
So,
we could name him Meatball.
and
He can hang out with Frank and Beans.
oh yeah, for sure. Audrey said, "Yup, you hit me with that jab, cross low kick. LOL. Love you so much, Kristin."
Love you too, girl.
Well, one thing I definitely want to tell you is, I talked to you about this, and I talked to others. For someone who's just so incredible, to say the least, I want to say people need to admire everything that you went through. I know this week has been a very tough week. I'm not going to say it out loud, but you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sorry for everything that happened, but just know that you have a little angel that's watching over you, and you're so incredible, to say the least. It's like you're making such an impact in my life, in Audrey's life, and many others' life. And I can't. If I can tell you so many thank yous for all that you do, I definitely would in a heartbeat. Because that's how much you have inspired. You've inspired me to continue to get better. You inspire others to continue to get better. And I think we can honestly say, without you, we wouldn't know where we would be. I mean, you're like my oldest sister I've always wanted. You're like a sister that I've always wanted. The entire Charleston Muay Thai, women over there are like family to me, because of how much I've supported you guys and how much you guys have supported me. So really and truly, I just want to say thank you for all that you do for me, for others, and you don't know how much of an impact you're doing to us. So as a mom, as a fighter, even as a person, you're so incredible. You're so amazing. And I know you're going to continue shining your light to others like you are now. So really, truly, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we can do, live for
Absolutely.
another day and have hope and be grateful.
Exactly. But hey, this is one final time for anyone who wants to ask her some questions. If not, I know there's a lot that you want to say, especially when it comes to the final comments. But before we get to that, if there's any questions, any comments you guys want to get a chance to tell her before we get a chance to let her go, because I know she's got more in store today and tomorrow and everything. The question is that when are we going to get a chance to see you back in the ring? Is it maybe sometime March, sometime April?
Yeah, I don't know. A little bit of a discussion about that this morning. So maybe April, May, or June. We'll see. We'll see the cards fall. Just waiting it on out.
All right. We have Mr. I think it's Roberto. He says, "What are the chances of us seeing you fight before summer?"
I don't know.
And anything can happen. Anything can happen. I mean, you really can't predict anything.
Yeah, just
that's like with
wait.
all the fights you see today. I mean, hey, you know what they say? Good things come for those who wait. And I know you're definitely waiting on someone to come step up and face you, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm patient. So.
Exactly. Is there any final comments or any final thoughts you want to say? I mean, the floor is yours.
I guess I would just. Yeah, I mean. Well, actually, I had a question for you.
Yes.
So I was kind of before my final thoughts, but I was kind of interested in, after our IKF event in October, this page popped up, The Fighting Now, and I, asked a couple people, do you know who this is? And everybody was like, no idea. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. And we started to get all this recognition. I'm just wondering, and after, I know you were like apprehensive about showing who you were and all that stuff, which I don't think you should have been. I think it's super cool what you're doing, but I'm just curious as to why you chose the women's fight scene. Like what was it about that you decided to kind of blow it up? Why this and nothing else?
Pretty much to me is that the reason why I went through the women's side is because, I look at so many fighters, outside of the UFC, outside of Bellator, and I'm thinking to myself, if I could be able to make a platform to give these women the recognition that they deserve, then that would be so incredible. So I pretty much spent a lot of time trying to be able to work on this, because before the fighting now became as big as what it used to be just about the wrestling side. But to me, it's like I want to be able to do something incredible for all the women's fighters. To you, to Sandra, to Audrey, to Anna, Amy, everyone out there. And I really wanted to be able to make such a platform to say, hey, you need to follow this fighter, because you don't know how much of an impact that can make on them. You don't know how much of an impact it can make on one person, because it is the start of something you don't really know what to expect. Let's say, for instance, I had Jenna Death Rage joining me a couple of weeks ago, and she's still amateur. But hey, that starts the interview I had with her is her way to success. I want to see people's success. I want to see people get the recognition that they deserve. That's why I build the platform, because everyone deserves the credit where credit's due. It's not me that the one that goes into the ring, goes to the cage to fight. It's you. It's all the other people that goes in there that busts their tails to get to where they are. And yet whenever I made this platform, if I could be able to make at least like one little impact, just one impact for someone, then I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay. So I mean, it's never really been about myself, but until Amy talked me out of my comfort zone. Because I'll be real with you, I'll be straight up honest with you. When Amy talked to me that, I pretty much still have a hard time with myself, and people will end up thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's a guy that's behind his page," and it's, you know what I mean. And so pretty much after Amy talked to me out of that, that's when you start seeing more of me. You start seeing more of who I am, instead of the person behind the page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's great. I was just curious. I think it's great. And if it brings you some type of happiness and joy and you get to feel fulfilled by, helping people, put their names out there. Some women on this page want to be professional fighters. And I think that's amazing that they have a platform that they can be showcased on, which is great. So thank you for what you do.
Really and truly, it's just, to me, I've always wanted to see it best in other people. I've always wanted to see people get that success as they deserve. And if I can be able to at least like make some sort of impact to you, to every other fighter out there, and then I know exactly what I'm doing. I feel great about it, because if it makes them happy, I'm happy. That's
Yeah.
that's what I love to do, to say the least.
Well, you're doing great. So don't stop now.
I ain't planning on to it. I ain't planning on stopping anytime soon, especially since we got the merchandise and everything. So really, truly, it's, if there was one people I could be able to thank you, thanks to every fighter who's allowed me to get a chance to share this platform, to get a chance to have the interviews, because I've always wanted to be able to interview people. I've always wanted to get a chance to listen to people's stories, because you don't know what they go through. Every story can make such an impact, like with yours, to Emily's, to Ashley this morning, to many others that I'm going to have interviews. You don't know what to go through until you see it now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I would just say, in closing that, for everybody watching or who watches this later, just keep grinding and, anything's possible, but you need to put in the effort.
But once pretty much wholeheartedly. And is there any final thoughts you want to say as well?
Just, yeah, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Well, if you guys want to get a chance to follow her, make sure you guys get a chance to follow her at Kristin_Lee. You guys make sure to put the dots in. I can't stress that enough. But just get a chance to follow her on Instagram. Is there any other social media platform that you have?
No, it's KRI, but that's okay. Close enough.
Oh, my bad.
They can follow somebody else.
My bad. See, this is the thing I didn't really pay attention to. When I got up, I had to make sure I hurry up. And by the way, to show you how incredible this fighter is, I mean, I'm going to show you, if I can get to it. There it is. It goes to show how much heart and how much passion you have. So make sure to get a chance to follow her. And first of all, once again, thank you for all that you do. I hope you have an incredible day. And there she goes. But either way, though, that was it from here on the StreamYard Studios. Coming up next, later on, we have Lisa's son. But I am Jake, and I hope you guys get a chance to follow me on the Fighting Now. and just continue on supporting the page. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great one. See you.